Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Words I Choose to Live By. So glad you all could be with us. We're simulcasting today on our radio audience at Max WYAD 94.1 FM in Mississippi and WYADonline.com. Excited about that. We also are on social media today and, of course, through our Amazon Live platform. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Dr. Velma Bagby, Melissa Banks, and Tina Siemens. We're glad you all could join us for week 8 out of my book, Words I Choose to Live By. If you guys are new to us on the Amazon side, make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or down below. For those joining us on the radio side, make sure you guys make a comment on the Facebook group for WYAD. We would love to know what you think about our program. We're discussing week number 8 in my book, and this is really, I think, a timely subject. So we do want this to make it be as interactive as possible for our social media audience that's joining us live. But first of all, how's everyone doing?
Doing great.
Doing great. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, if you all do not have your copy of my book, Words I Choose to Live By, I do not know what you've been doing all this time, but you can be able to get it on Amazon, either in paperback, hardcover, or the Kindle edition. If you have the paperback edition, we're looking at page number 22 for the message for week 8 is, and that is peace in the midst of the storm. And this is the message. Though fear and anxiety may swirl around you like the darkness of a storm, do not allow it to knock you down. Even if you waver, do not fall. Focus on your blessings and stay faithful. If you do not give up, the sun will shine again. Now, this is an interesting message because I think all of us, no matter who we are or how well people may think we have it, all of us have our own challenges and struggles that we deal with. But the difference is so many people allow the winds of that challenge to knock them down or keep them down, while others decide either to hold fast or even if they fall to get back up. I know for myself, I've always said I know that I will have things that will come up in my life, but the thing I do not want to do is allow those things to overwhelm me. I remember when my grandmother died now 11 years ago, I went through a period of depression and I felt like I was stuck. And I had to make that decision to keep going because one of the things she said to me before she died, the day before she died, is that she wanted me to live my life. And I knew I owed not only her memory that, but also I owed myself that as well. So that's one of the things that's helped me to remember that no matter what challenge we face, the importance of keep moving forward. Melissa, I'm going to turn it over to you. How has it helped you to know that even though you may go through a challenge or a storm, you don't have to let it get the best of you?
Oh, absolutely. It's the key to keeping going. This message, though, when I read this message, I started thinking about a story that my preacher shared that he talked about this weekend. You know, we had those really, really bad storms on Saturday night. I mean, it was loud. It was bad. His young son was caught in that storm on an area that we call the reservoir, and how fearful he was. And he kept saying, thinking of, what can I do? What can I do? I'm sitting here. The storm is coming. I can't see the blinds. My wipers are not working. He literally had to roll his window down and look out the window to try to keep going. So part of his mind kept saying, you need to stop. You need to stop. You need to pull over. But the other side of his mind said, you need to pray. You need to lean into your faith. You need to believe what God has already promised you, that he's going to get you through the storm. So he kept driving. And guys, when he kept driving, he moved into that brief moment. And Cyrus, you live in this area, so you know the storms we were having Saturday night. He moved through the storm and the storms calmed. But the key was because he kept going. And I draw on that because even in a season where it seems like so much negative stuff is happening, we went through the loss of our dear Papa recently. There's been some business challenges. There's been some physical things that I've gone through, but each moment pushed me to the next moment. I talk about this when I share my story, that my whole event planning, my whole entrepreneur journey started in the midst of a storm, raising my small young children and losing a job that I thought was secure for life at the spur of the moment. And everything changed because I believed that there was more for me. And then I didn't sit. I say to you, when you go through those storms, and I grant you, sometimes they seem huge and you seem like it's never going to stop. If you just get up, if you just keep going and taking steps every single day toward where you want to be, you'll get through the storm. And that's the key. is to keep moving, to get through the storm, to get to the sun shining again.
Yeah, so true. Angela Anderson, hello to you over there on IG. Herschel Dixon, hello to you over there on IG as well. Dr. Bill, I'm going to ask you the same question. What has it been like for you to realize the importance of when you're going through the storms, not to let the storm overtake you?
I'm in a storm right now, Cyrus. I'm going through multiple things, and yet I still have to move forward. And yet I had to focus on celebrating our 51st wedding anniversary this past weekend. That gave me an opportunity to step away from the things that's happening in my own personal family. You know, from my sister, I shared with you from my sister's diagnosis, which the doctor said there's nothing else they can do. So it's just a matter of time, to my going back and writing a story about my mom and watching as I processed what I saw growing up in her. I saw strength and resilience because she went through multiple storms just trying to raise 7 children on her own. And yet, in an organized way, our house was always neat and clean because my sister was left in charge to make sure that we did what we needed to do. All of us had a chore to do. So the house was always spotless. And so people would walk into the house and see 7 children wondering, well, how is this possible? It was possible because we all had assignments. But when I think about what she went through to pretty much put on her boots and pull up her bootstraps and say, I'm not going to accept what the world has served me, and I'm going to do better for myself and my children. And she did exactly that. I watched her do all of that. And so when I think of what I'm going through right now, I think of what I've already seen in a woman who was strong, who was on her own, but what kept her going was her faith. And so I have to model that same principle, keeping my faith intact, knowing that whatever I'm going through, I'm never alone, knowing that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, knowing that I've seen it work before. So why not it work for me? And so I stay focused on that. I know that God has a plan for my life, and I know who I in whom I believe, and I trust him with my whole heart. So I know I shouldn't be worrying about anything, but by prayer and supplication make my request known to him. And that's why the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, will keep our hearts and our mind. And people wonder, why aren't you breaking up? Why aren't you breaking down? Why aren't you falling apart? Because the key is, even though it looks like I should be, I'm learning to do what I just said, not
Right.
be anxious, not worry, but instead pray to God, talk to him, and then he gives me peace in the middle of my storms. So though I don't look like what I'm going through right now, I am going through, and I'm thankful that I'm moving through it not alone, but God is walking by my side.
Yeah, so true. Jill, good to be to see you, Jill Kemp Melton. Good to be to see you over there on IG as well. Tina, same question for you. We all go through storms. All of us here, as Dr. Velma says, she's going through one right now. You know, we may all of us may be going through something that others don't realize. But what is it that has helped you, Tina, not to be overcome by the storms that you face?
I too can say that there is many storms and at different levels and at different times in our life. But I think almost every human being could relate to being in some type of storms. And there's many different types. Here in West Texas, we get the thunderstorms, and then we get the severe sandstorms. But just before I came on this morning, I have the 2 buffalo as my mascots for the museum. And one of them just stood right outside of my backyard in the pastures. And I could see this majestic buffalo right off the back patio. And what the lessons we can learn from a buffalo in a storm is something that I value very much. Any other animal, whether it's horses or cattle, they run away from the storm. But a buffalo runs right into the storm. And that way they are through the storm quicker as if they run away from it. So my uh, lesson always is whatever the storm is in my life, I want to run to it. Like with God's help, if we only see one set of footprints, on the sand, it is through the storms that he carries us. And so if I run into the storm instead of away from it, then I will embrace it. All of the storm elements are going to hit me quicker, but I will be through it quicker. And so for me to learn from the buffalo to run into the storm is such a valuable lesson. And I just praise the Lord that we don't have to go through all our storms by ourselves. We have help, not only in our Heavenly Father, but in each other as believers and as human beings. We can join hands. If somebody sees me struggle, they will come to me and say, how can I help you? And likewise, we can do to others. So for us to run into the storm will result in us being through the storm quicker. And so I just praise the Lord for the storms, because it's during the storms that we grow stronger. We are challenged. We are like a muscle. It is being challenged, and therefore it is growing stronger. And that's likewise to us as humans. Let's face the storms, go into it instead of trying to run away. Let's head into the storm up front and get through it the quickest we can.
Love that. Love that great analogy. It reminds me of what Melissa mentioned about the individual going into the storm as well. It's a great reminder. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, welcome. You're either watching or listening to Words I Choose to Live By on Max WYAD 94.1 FM in Mississippi, or WYADonline.com. Also, we are being simulcast live on Amazon Live right now, and also on social media through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. We're discussing the message from my book, Word That Choose to Live By, week number 8. Again, the message is peace in the midst of the storm. And I do want to say, for those joining us on the Amazon side, you notice as each one of the hosts was talking, I was toggling in between their latest releases. You can actually buy those on Amazon, either on the side or below us, depending on how you're watching us. I also say in this message, though, Dr. Velma, something I want to go back to, and that is this: even if you waver, do not fall. I think a lot of times, especially for people who are people of faith, there is this a wrong belief that we will not have anything that will knock us down, or that that will challenge us. I don't know where that comes from, but but what is it that helps you, Dr. Velma, even if you waver and even if you fall, to get back up? What helps you to do that?
I was thinking in terms of what Tina just said, and that is getting your spiritual muscles built. I mean, you can't build muscles without exercising them. And she said that that comes from going through the storms. But I, I don't know, Cyrus. I think what really helps me is what I said earlier, and that is to trust what I know that God has said I can do during these moments. And what came to my mind while we were all, when I was listening to the other speakers, was Isaiah 40 and 31. I've heard that scripture all my life. You know, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. And they shall mount up with wings as an eagle. They shall walk and not get weary. And they shall run and not faint. It wasn't until only recently I truly understood, as I did a deep dive of that scripture. We think the eagle just shows up and helps us get through our storms, but that's not what it was saying. It says, they that wait upon the Lord. That word in the original language means to build strands and cords and tie and bind them together. So what are we? And people assume that we're just sitting there waiting through the storm, waiting for the storm to get over and to end. And this script, this thought today is telling us we're not. We're not getting knocked down. We're not going to waver. And the third thing I underlined was focus on the blessing. So therefore, when you're going through a storm, you're not just sitting there twiddling your thumbs, hoping it will be over. What you're doing is building your strength. That's what the building the cords and tying the cords together. So what are the cords? The cords are your faith. The cords are your continuing to move forward. Your cords are continue to do what you've been assigned to do. So you're binding all of that together. Then it says, they shall mount up with wings as an eagle, because the eagle is the one bird that will not hide down on the ground from the storm. It actually flies directly into the storm, locks its wings, and uses the strength of the storm to push it forward. In some cases, it'll fly above the storm. So I'm saying that that's who we are. We are going to build those cords of faith and strength and focus and continue to move forward. And like that eagle will do the same thing, rise above it or run right in it, to use the power of the storm to push us exactly to the place that we need to go. So when I think of not wavering, that's what I'm thinking about. Because the waver to me is to sit and be still and not do anything and be fearful. But no, we are to go right into it, move through it, and build those cords and fly up like the eagle, not fear the storm at all.
Tina, the same question to you. Even if you do happen to waver or even fall, what helps you to get back up during those difficult times?
I have a quote in my living room that says, "In the midst of the storm, sometimes we find our true direction." And so it is so often that we think storms are there to hurt us, but it's the opposite. It's there to strengthen us. And if we are strong, if we are determined, and this has to be a mindset before the storm hits, that it will not knock me down. I will not succumb to the temptations or to the hardships. And so if we have that mindset before the storm gets here, so often we, especially here in West Texas, you see the storms coming on at a distance. The clouds roll in, or the sand rolls in like billowing clouds. And you have those moments to prepare, to anchor yourself. And that is in the resolution of, I am not going to be knocked down. And if we do that, if we go into the storm with that mindset, then we will find often our true direction of, this is what I've learned from it, and I am going to apply it. And then we are stronger on the other side of the storm.
Love that. Thank you for that, Tina. Melissa, what about for yourself? I mean, the message says here that even if you waver, do not fall. But even if you fall, what helps you to keep moving forward?
Well, it's easy to look at someone who shows up. They look like they got it all together. Things are working out great because they're showing up. But what I have found in the times that I waver, and I'm sorry, there are moments where I'm saying, this is, when am I going to get a win? I'm screaming, I need a win right now. I need the storms to cease. It's too much. I can't take it. Those are moments that I am speaking from the gut, from my heart. But what I have learned, when I say that, when I speak it, when I recognize that it's not okay, I'm not okay in this moment, because there's so many storms coming. I visualize trying to drive in a storm, and the storm keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming. And that's what happens at times for all of us, I believe. I believe the key, though, is when I get in those moments, I acknowledge, Lord, I'm here, but you've done it before. And I know you will get me through it now. I know you have a plan for me, and that's not what I'm going through right now. And then I look at the wall in my bedroom. I have a picture on the wall that says, "Be still and let God." And when I read that, I say it out loud and I breathe. Yes, Lord, I was in that moment, but I already know that you promised that you will never leave me nor forsake me. I already know that you promised that all things will work out for my good. I just have to keep going and doing what I know I'm supposed to do and leave the rest up to you. And that's how I get through those moments of wavering. That's how I get through those moments that if I feel like I'm falling, I can lift myself back up, because I hold him to every single promise that he's given me.
Yeah, such a powerful message. Hello to you, Once Upon a Horse over there on IG. Are any of you guys bakers? Any bakers? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay. Well, the reason why I'm asking is Earl says sometimes a red velvet cake can lift him up. So,
Well, Cyrus, that's because he has not tasted the sugar daddy cake yet.
so Earl, thank you for watching us over there on Facebook. This is a great reminder, I think, for all of us, for sure. I mean, because again, there are, no matter who we are. I mean, I think, whether you look at individuals. I mean, look at Job, who seemed to have everything, and then look at what he went through. I think, none of us should expect not to go through things. And none of us should think, oh, their life is so perfect. They don't have this. I'm over here doing. All of us have something we're dealing with. But the key is really of this message is, no matter what your own personal storm may be, the importance of keep going and not giving up on yourself so that you can see the sunshine for yourself again. It's a great reminder for us all. Tina, I'm going to turn it over to you. So what message would you give to our audience about the importance of, no matter what they're facing, not giving up?
Well, I was just, as y'all were talking, reminded of the story where Peter was invited to step out of the boat and come toward Jesus. Mm-hmm. It was during the storm. And as long as he held his eyes upon Jesus, He walked on top of the water. He walked on top of the waves. But when he took his eyes off, his focus shifted to the waves, then he sank. And so if we take that story and apply it to our daily lives, I just encourage each one, keep your eyes focused, know your purpose, know your why, and then keep your focus on that. And the storms, the waves can crash into you, but your footing, you're anchored, and that it makes all the difference to be successful and not have shipwreck during the storm.
Yeah, such a great reminder. Melissa, what would you say to our audience about the importance of no matter what their storm is, the importance of not giving up?
It is everything. Don't give up on you. Don't give up on your dreams. Reach into that pocket where you already have that encouragement there that you pull out when you need it, to just keep going. Remember, it's not your job to know everything that's happening. It's not your job to see down the road. Your job is right now in this moment. Make a decision that I'm not stopping. I'm not just looking at what's in front of me, because I know there's a plan bigger than what I can see. And focus in on those times, and then admit to yourself, I'm in a moment that I'm not feeling great, and lean into those scriptures that uplift you. Lean into those people who say something that moves you just a little bit further. And if you just keep going, even when the storms are raging, you keep going, and you will get to where you're supposed to be.
So true. Dr. Velma, what would you say to our audience about the importance of, no matter what storm they're facing, not giving up?
Well, I think that's the whole key. If you give up, then it's over already. So I think part of the problem is to always believe what we all just said. In every case, all the other co-hosts spoke to the importance of believing what they believe, trusting what they believe. And I love what Melissa said. Sometimes you have to put the words on the wall and let the words speak to you. Maybe it's not in your heart in that moment, but put those words of affirmation up on your wall. And when you need it, sometimes you can't say it, but at least you can read it out loud until you believe it and keep going. So to me, everything that we said about the promises of God, they're all powerful. Whether we believe them or not, they're going to sit there and be powerful. But you must activate them by your faith. And the only way you can do that is believe what he says. And so, therefore, if you can read that statement, like Melissa said, and read it until you believe it, read it until it's deep in your heart in that moment, then it will help you get through those times.
Yeah, such a great reminder for us all. Again, everyone, week number 8, the message is peace in the midst of the storm. Earl says, what kind of storms do you go through? I go through a lot of, I just went through a storm actually this weekend, a literal storm this weekend, Earl. Thank you for asking. Myself and the family are all safe. But yes, I go through storms all the time. I live in Mississippi. We have lots of storms. But
Oh, wow.
I think, for all of us, though, the importance of moving. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Oh, boy. Got some news. Got some news before we close out. Got some news, everybody. Guess what? The new issue of Conversations Magazine is live.
Yay! That's awesome.
Yay!
Our 2025, a year of new beginnings issue of the magazine. I just so happen to have it in the carousel over here on that. Imagine that, over here on Amazon. I have it there in the carousel there. So you guys can be able to get it, featuring some of my CMG family, Allie
Yes.
Dalsimer, Earl Hall, Dr. Norma McLaughlin, Tanya
Yes.
White, Chris Collier is in there. Also, Melody Phillips is in there as well. Also, recording artist Jamie Fine is featured in this issue, and author Moses Maddox. You all can get the Kindle edition right now on Amazon for only $3.99. Again, Conversations Magazine 2025, a year of new beginnings. You all can get the Kindle edition now. So I had to interrupt our regular scheduled programming for nice little announcement there. But thank you all so much for sharing today. I really appreciate it. And I hope our audience, either on the radio side, Amazon, on social media, got something from this. Again, storms are going to come, but it really is about how we choose to face them. And know that if you keep going, as the message says, the sun will shine for you again. Really appreciate you guys. Melissa, let our audience know. How can they stay connected with you?
Wow, this was an amazing topic. And I hope it reminded you that your storms are raging, but if you just keep going, the sun is going to shine on the other side. You can connect with us at themelissabanks.com. You can hear all our great news. You can hear all about our new announcement that we made today about our event planning training. This is our first live training we've ever done, and we're super excited. So go to themelissabanks.com. You can connect with us on all of our social media platforms, and you can listen to some amazing stories with women sharing their stories about their journeys and how they were able to push through the storms and create the life that they want and deserve. All the information is right there at themelissabanks.com.
Daybreak 197, thank you so much for joining us there on Instagram. And Earl says, nice theatrics with the headset. I'm sorry, I didn't notice any theatrics. Did y'all notice any theatrics?
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah,
notice.
we
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Dr. Velma, how can they stay connected with you?
Thank you for the show today. I thank you for the inspiration I get from my co-hosts as well. So I'm grateful that we had this moment today, and you can reach me on any of the social media platforms as Dr. Velma Bagby or Dr. Velma Bagby, the author. But you can also reach me by connecting and subscribing to my website, drvelmabagby.com.
All right, thank you for that, Dr. Velma. And Tina, how can our audience stay connected with you?
Well, now that we all have the tools in our toolbox, let's face the storms head on. I'd love to hear from you. You can connect with me at Tina Siemens on Facebook and Instagram. I would love to hear from you.
All right, thank you for that, Tina. Really great message, everyone. Really appreciate you guys. Looking forward to next week. For our radio audience, again, let us know on our Facebook page on WYAD what you thought about today's message. We're glad to be able to now bring Word That You Live By to Max WYAD 94.1 FM each week, as well as, of course, at WYADonline.com. For those joining us on Amazon, if you guys have not done so already, make sure you guys do hit that follow button either here in the corner or down below. Also, for you guys joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as on YouTube, you'll see a link that will bring you guys over to Amazon to get the books that are written by our co-hosts. On X, you'll see it in the comment section. And on Instagram, you all will see it in our stories. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.